Thank you for listening In Love with the God, the Book of Friendship. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I have many, many more books that are similar to this one, but have different scenarios and plots and twists. I hope you stick with Grace Guidance Production because we have so much more in store for you. Now, back to the book. Chapter 6. Chapter 6. Gentle Stranger. Having time off was great, especially knowing soon work would consume my life. A big project was coming, one that would take me away from everything familiar, possibly to another country. For now, though, I wanted to enjoy myself, to actually live. That's why I agreed to go to an upscale singles event with Kamren. It had been 3 months since I last had contact with Keller. Almost time for OTAs. It was a shame that I measured the time by the football schedule. That shows you just how much I was wrapped up in Keller's life. Kamren was late as usual, but of course, things never went as planned. On her way to meet me, Kamren got into a minor fender bender. Her older brother, Chris, had to go help her, leaving me to brave the evening alone. I was stirring the ice in my Moscato, debating whether I should leave, when a deep, smooth voice came from behind me. "Hi, young lady." I turned and nearly forgot how to breathe. Standing there, backlit by the dim golden lights of the lounge, was a man who looked like he had been sculpted by divine hands. His frame was strong, broad in every way that hinted at effortless power. His shirt stretched just enough to suggest muscular discipline beneath the fabric, and the confidence in his stance made it clear he knew exactly the kind of effect he had on people. "Hi to you, sir," I managed, lifting my glass for a sip. I needed something sweet to keep my tongue from slipping into trouble. He stood about 6'3", towering over me in a way that made my pulse quicken. His body was carved from dedication, the kind of build that spoke of discipline rather than vanity. I took another sip of my Moscato, letting the sweetness coat my tongue before it betrayed me. Being a Scorpio wasn't easy. One wrong word, one slip of curiosity, and I'd be tangled into the fantasy I was desperately trying to keep at bay. "May I sit with you?" His voice was smooth, warm, like he already knew the answer. I raised an eyebrow as I looked up at him. His lips curved into a grin. "My name is Hillaney, but my friends call me Hill." "Samantha," I answered. "Nice to meet you, Samantha." I'd kiss your hand, but that wine glass looked like it enjoys the firm grip you have on it. I laughed, despite myself. Smooth. "How do you know that I'm not here with someone and he or she isn't in the bathroom?" "Because I saw you answer your phone a few minutes ago, and the look on your face when they canceled. It wasn't just in your expression, it was in your whole body language." Busted. I tilted my head, studying him. "I am waiting for someone," I lied smoothly. "But you can stand here and talk to me until my friend arrives." No one was coming, but I wasn't about to let him get too comfortable just yet. I needed to gauge whether this was just an instant attraction or something worth entertaining. He smirked. He cleared his throat. "Fair enough. Still, standing here is worth it. I've been staring at you from across the room for the past 20 minutes, wondering about all the what ifs. Damn, this man was chocolate and smooth, like my favorite brand of dark truffles. That wasn't just a pickup line, that was an invitation, a silent suggestion that the back room, dimly lit and draped with coats, was just over there, and if I wanted to. "Are you okay?" His voice cut through my spiraling thoughts. I blinked, feeling the warmth creep up my neck. Yeah, I guess I'm just not used to being stalked and then casually informed that I was being stalked. I wasn't stalking you. I was observing, making sure there wasn't someone already keeping you company. And if that didn't sound creepy, I said, taking a slow sip of my wine, I'm just glad there are witnesses around now. Leaning slightly closer, Hillaney whispered, "It's not creepy. It's called studying a beautiful woman. More men should take the time to do it properly." I raised an eyebrow, smirking over the rim of my glass. "I will say, Hillaney, you have a unique ability to read people. I hope this is your profession." He shrugged, the moment slow and easy. "I make a few bucks from it," he admitted, a playful glint in his eye. I studied him for a moment. "You do seem familiar. Do you come here often or live in town?" At this, he settled into the seat across from me without hesitation, as if he belonged there. I didn't mind. There was something about him, something intriguing and oddly familiar. "I don't usually go out much," he said, running a hand over his jaw. "I get consumed by work, sometimes more than I like, but I love what I do. I have to stay on top of my schedule. My customers wouldn't be happy if I dropped the ball, not even once." His words carry weight, like there was more behind them than just a demanding job. I tilted my head slightly, my curiosity growing. "And what exactly is it that you do, Hill? Sounds like a great job, but don't you want to enjoy your life?" I asked. Hill's lips curled into a knowing smile. "Oh, I enjoy life. I just have to be careful who I enjoy it with." He paused, his voice deep, carrying a weight of wisdom. My granddad always reminds me, don't let a few minutes of enjoyment turn into a lifelong responsibility. Swirling the last sip of Moscato in my glass, "Sounds like a wise man," I said. We continued our conversation, delving into everything from travel to favorite books, even touching on childhood memories that shaped us. Hill was effortlessly insightful, his words layered with depth beyond surface charm. There was something strikingly familiar about him, though I couldn't quite place it. As the night grew late, I glanced at my phone and realized I needed to head home. Traveling alone this late wasn't ideal, and before I could even voice my concern, Hill had already motioned for the valet. Just as I reached for my empty glass, my fingers missed, sending it teetering towards the edge of the table. Before I could react, Hill's hand shot out, catching it effortlessly before it could shatter against the floor. His grip was steady, his reflexes swift, and for a brief second, my eyes lingered on his hands. Strong, capable, the kind that spoke of both power and restraint. He walked me to the valet stand, standing close but not overbearingly so. His presence had a quiet strength, the kind that made me feel safe without a single promise spoken. We exchanged numbers just before my car arrived. As I slid into the driver's seat, he leaned down and met my gaze. "Drive safe, Samantha." His voice wrapped around my name like silk, making it sound softer than I'd ever heard it before. I watched as he closed my door gently and stepped back, hands in his pockets, waiting as the car pulled away. He didn't move. He stood there watching until I turned the corner, a silent guardian in the night. I didn't know they still made men like that. He had mentioned that his granddad had a big influence on him. If this was the result, I had to admit I liked it. I sat in the quiet of my car, gripping the steering wheel tightly as thoughts swirled around my head. Keller's silence weighed on me like a heavy cloak, a constant reminder that I was stuck in some limbo between friendship and something more. What was I holding on to? The future with him was uncertain, and every day without a word from him made me feel more invisible, more like an afterthought. He'd been a constant for so long, my rock, yet here I was, waiting for a call, waiting for an answer, waiting on him to tell me if there was even a possibility of us being more than just friends. But I couldn't let myself go down that rabbit hole again. I didn't want to internalize this, to let the actions of others dictate my worth. I had worked too hard to build myself up from those years of neglect. How many times had I let myself be overlooked, left behind as if it didn't matter? Brenton and Keller had to handle their own demons, not me. The wounds of my past were deep, but they didn't have to define my future. Hillaney, I couldn't deny that there had been something between us. The way he made me laugh, the way he listened without rushing to fill the silence, the way his energy felt so effortlessly yet magnetic. He felt right, like I had found someone who genuinely understood me without the weight of baggage or expectations. I had barely known him, but he was already a breath of fresh air. A stark contrast to Keller's distance and Brenton's departure. But was it too soon to let myself feel this way? Was I using Hill as a distraction from the unresolved feelings I had with Keller? From the heartbreak of Brenton? I needed to figure this out before I let myself fall for someone else too quickly. But the thought of Hill's smooth smile and easy confidence made it hard to stay in my head too long. Maybe for once, I could just be present, just live in the moment without worrying about what might or might not come next. It was time to stop second-guessing everything and let myself breathe. "Are you home?" The message lit up my phone screen as I pulled into the garage. My heart leaped for a second, excitement stirring in my chest. Keller? He was finally checking on me. It had been months since I last heard from him, and for a brief, foolish moment, I thought maybe, just maybe, he missed me. I grabbed my phone, already crafting a playful, facetious reply, but as my thumb hovered over the screen, I noticed the name attached to the text. It wasn't Keller. It was Hillaney. A flutter hit my stomach. No, a few flutters. Disappointment mixed with unexpected excitement, battling in my chest like an indecisive storm. I had spent 2 hours talking to Hill, and not only had he extended his gentlemanly nature throughout the night, but he also cared enough to check on me after I left. I responded to his message and took a deep breath, letting my thoughts settle. Keller and I had history, deep history, but after everything that happened, he had made it clear that he wasn't ready or willing to explore anything beyond friendship. And then Brenton, a relationship of convenience, nothing more than a mental space waster. And then Hillaney. Hillaney was intriguing. He was easy to talk to, a breath of fresh air in a world that had grown stale. The chime of another text pulled me from my spiraling thoughts. "I'd like to see you again tomorrow, if that's okay." I stared at the message. My mind split between past and present. History one, possibility with another. This should have been a no-brainer, yet a small part of me still held on to the hope that Keller would reach out, that we finally talk about what was or what wasn't between us. But hope was exhausting. And my mom always said, if it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't, and it can what it can, and it can't what it can't. I needed to stop overthinking and just live in the moment. There was nothing wrong with me. Keller and Brenton had their own battles to fight, and I wasn't responsible for their indecision. I typed my response, "Yes, what time?" And almost immediately his reply came through. "I pick you up from your place of choice at 12 p.m. I smiled to myself. Such a gentleman. He didn't push for my home address, respecting the fact that we had just met. Thoughtful, considerate, a rare find. I quickly text back, "Meet me at drinks." A few seconds later, his reply came, "Perfect. Good night, Samantha."